It's time to go inside the mega events with some of the biggest names in the trillion-dollar world of sports. Let's go beyond the scoreboard with the sports professor, Rick Horrow.
I'm the sports professor, Rick Horrow. Welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard, Inside the Mega Events. It's a trillion-dollar sports business, to be sure, and about 50 to 60% of those dollars are wrapped up in the mega events, the championships, Super Bowls, All-Star Games, World Series, Wimbledon, tennis majors, golf majors, NASCAR championships, IndyCar championships, Ryder Cup. All of those too numerous to mention. I'm in my office to kick off the show, but I'm not here a lot. I'll be on the road on a weekly basis to bring you the inside tips from those major events. The balance sheets, who wins, who loses, the interviews, how you put on the events, and how you sustain them. This is all brought to you by Edelman Financial.
Money doesn't come with instructions. That's why we created Edelman Financial Services to help you with everything from college and retirement planning to managing your investments, helping you achieve retirement security. We're among the nation's top financial advisors. Come see how we can help you.
I'm glad you're here. We sent out a notice earlier in the week about this session. I think if there's anything that we can be sure of moving forward as an organization, is that our facilities and our physical plants are going to become more and more important to what we need to do. What we need to do for our business model and what we need to do to satisfy our customers at baseball's highest level. So I think this session is important for a multitude of reasons. One, we have some of the brightest and the best people in our organization who are already doing. Hello. Hello. There we go. Thank you very much. Don't look at me. I didn't do anything. That are already doing this. So the case studies and the people in the room who are way ahead of us in some respects are going to be able to add valuable insight and context to what we're going to talk about today. There is an ever-increasing need to generate revenue. And you've heard me talk over the years many, many times about new money and more money. More money is going to the existing base, touching price point and generating more revenue. New money is just that. It's money that's currently not in our system, but we need to bring into our system. And we have tapped out in many respects our ability to go to the four core revenue centers of tickets, advertising, food and beverage, and merchandise. We're working very hard on e-commerce and in the digital space. We're working very hard at enterprises from the standpoint of a global solution to some marketing dollars. But at home is where we really make our bacon, where you really get a chance to have direct impact and influence over what happens to your revenue streams, what happens around your ballparks. And today, the idea is to do a case study sharing, best practices sharing, and hear from some really, really energized, intelligent, passionate people about helping us move the needle on what we can do with our physical plants from a standpoint of inside the ballpark, from the standpoint of the ancillary development, and from the standpoint of preparing ourselves for this next wave of facility standards and the next generation of fandom that's going to require different things than we have today. I remember when I was a young man, and yes, at one point I was a young man, Rick Horrow.
I'm not saying a word.
When I went to a ballpark, I wanted to know three things. I wanted to know where my seat was, I wanted to know where the concession stand was, and I wanted to know where the restroom was, because that was the only three places I really cared about, because I was going to sit down and watch a game. That's not the case now. You know, I didn't want to go through all of these other things that you have to go through to get into a stadium now with retail and all that other. My wife loves it, but I'm not that crazy about it. But that's the wave of the future. And we've got people here today who are going to talk about how we can accomplish those, how we can enter into public-private, joint ventures, tripart agreements between developers, ball clubs, and communities, civic, government communities, to keep pace and to make sure that we're able to really serve our model, serve our franchise, serve our community in the best possible way. This facilities, franchise the facility in the community seminar, we'd really talked about doing it last year, and we just, a multitude of things came up. And this gentleman I'm about to introduce has been consistently passionate about doing this for us. I've known Rick Horrow too long, about 30 years. Rick is very, very good at what he does. And as soon as I figure that out, I'll tell you how good he is.
Thanks.
But Rick is someone who's helping us in this space and in other spaces, but has been involved in Oklahoma City. And Michael, I know you have a vote coming Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah, good luck. I hear we're in good shape. Double-digit lead in the polls.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Okay. In Oklahoma City, in El Paso, and in other places at major league and minor league levels in the sports space, dealing mostly with communities. So at this time, I'm going to turn the program over to Rick. And I think you're in for a really good afternoon. Hi, Miles. How are you? A really good afternoon of sharing, case study, best practices. I apologize for the room. We will do this next year on an ongoing basis, and I promise there will be more seats. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Rick Horrow.
Thank you, my friend. First of all, before he leaves, I just want to tell you it is a testament to Pat O'Connor for his perseverance, for his intensity, for his leadership. Not only I'm really excited to be involved in this process and working with him as greater days lie ahead in every context, but also it tells you how seriously people take this process where we thought we were going to get a smaller room, and of course we didn't get a smaller room. The idea is to clear these first set of seats out and use them as PSLs. I told him it's not going to work. I told him that was really be silly, but that's okay. I really am serious about structuring, working with the best minds in the business to give you some insight. All of you have done a great job in protecting your assets. This will also provide additional inventory to protect your assets. If there are people who have to come in and come out, just know that there will be this 3-hour show available and posted over the next couple of days and forever on the site. So you're not missing anything if you have to leave. But what we're going to do is structure this basically in 3 areas. The first one is the inside the stadium, for lack of a better term. Jim Rennie, who's been involved with Rossetti and otherwise, and now is the head of the facility development side of JLL, and others, Populous will show some of their case studies and others. This will be all issues relating to fan safety, entertainment, environment, access, things that people know, the things that people don't, standards, all of those issues we'll talk about. Feel free to interrupt and ask questions. This is for you. Second piece is called Stadium District Community Building through Ancillary Development. JLL is a global full-service real estate firm that really is a commercial management facility firm, and it was very important for us to introduce you to them because they provide a healthy perspective of ROI and economic development in the context of these facilities. You know, in essence, treating your facility like a magnet office building. What happens around it? How do you attract? Harry Claff has got some really interesting ideas about that. And then last, Stan Brand, who we all know from his political career, from his oratorical career, from his golf career. Stan is the man. He'll tell you he is the best. And he will give us some perspective on how important minor league baseball is in the community and in the country, borrowing some of the themes that everybody is hearing today as we move forward, trying to explain to everybody in the country why every minor league baseball team is very important. Let's just say that. So it's a 1-panel break, panels 2 and 3 together. We'll try to keep it on time. Those of you who care about the Patriots and Chiefs at 1:30, we'll try to update you as best we can. And frankly, we'll move forward, and hopefully what you get in the next 3 hours is something that you're able to share and learn from. Having said that, let me just give you kind of a general outline before we introduce one of our keynotes. About 41.5 million fans attending minor league baseball this last year. We all understand that this is the 15th year in a row minor league baseball is over that 40 million person mark. As you know, attendance has increased about 2.5%, while MiLB declined about 1.6%, just a comparative fact. Importantly, minor league baseball, and we'll continue to harp at this, is available to 81% of the U.S. population, meaning they live in markets with minor league baseball teams. And 129 of the clubs are located in the top 100 U.S. designated market areas covering the country. Average price for a family of four, $69 to attend a game, including 2 adult tickets, 2 childs, 2 hot dogs, sodas, and beers. Obviously affordable. We all understand that. You all understand that. But as far as the emphasis, it's an obvious thing that everybody needs to be aware of. On the facility side, since 2000, minor league baseball opened 68 new ballparks, 4 new ballparks for 2020, and since 1990, the last agreement, 132 new ballparks at the cost of $3.2 billion. So before we get into the specific panels, let me just give you kind of 5 generalizations that will permeate throughout this afternoon. Number 1, the $3.2 billion construction number is a classic public-private partnership. On average, 28% are private dollars, 46% city, 17% county, and about 8% state. Mixture, great participation. Number 2, these facilities universally recognized as important components of a community infrastructure, just as critical to a region's growth as libraries, convention centers, museums, transportation, infrastructure, and the like. Very significant. Number 3, minor league teams and their facilities, vital components of their communities because they provide affordable, fan-friendly entertainment for members of their communities, support scores of local businesses, thousands of dollars of charity and man-hours, and materially enhance the quality of life of each community. Harder to quantify, but very, very specifically important, and we'll have some confirmation of that in just a few minutes. Number 4, really important as well, these tangible and intangible assets are consistent regardless of market size. We're going to cover case studies today from smaller markets, Jupiter, Kannapolis, Madison, middle markets, Des Moines, Oklahoma City, Albuquerque, Wichita. I guess you call them larger markets of Vegas and Hartford. We're not talking about population breakdowns, but there is a broad diversity here. And when you hear the stat of the 81% of the U.S. population living within a market of at least one minor league baseball club, the national diversity cannot be underemphasized. Finally, the solution to improve facilities, as Pat would say, rests in 3 key areas: time, money, and space. As we approach a new PBA, sharing best practices and creatively engineering comprehensive solutions will be the key to unlocking design, finance, and compliance challenges we face in this new paradigm. Maintaining and developing facilities that meet evolving minimum standards is critically important, not only for the fan experience, but for player safety and development, and for maximizing long-term sustainable revenue. So as we go through all of this, we will talk about those 5 criteria. Sam Bernabe, President General Manager, the Iowa Cubs, philanthropic, great history. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So give me your history with the Iowa Cubs. How many years have you been around?
I started with the ball club in 1983 as an intern, which was fun.
Yeah.
And then they made me the director of operations, and then
you earned it. They didn't make you it.
Well, I was lucky enough to be in the right spot at the right time, which then also led into being the general manager, the right spot at the right time, and that was in the fall of 1986, and I was named the president of the club and part owner in 1999, and here I stand.
And by the way, he was minor league baseball executive of the year in 2014. So there are perspectives here that are very interesting perspectives, including being able to chart the growth of not only the Iowa Cubs in Des Moines, but what it means to minor league baseball generally. So let's first start talking about the kind of the fabric of bringing people together and what a ball team does in the community. Again, hard to quantify, but you talk about that.
I think just the essence of entertainment, whether it's baseball or anything else, where you can take a collection of people and really know that they're enjoying themselves, is the big challenge for everybody in this business that operates a club that is in charge of one of the big pieces of entertainment within their community. And that's what we're all in charge of and then set out to do, is to make sure that the kids that are there are having a good time, the seniors that are there are having a good time, mom and dad are there having a good time, a bachelor party, a bachelorette party, a church gathering, whatever it may be. It's the beauty of baseball and what we do for our community is we provide something for everybody, not just the male demographic or the senior demographic or kids under 15 or whatever it may be. It appeals to everybody, and that's how we market our ball clubs. We do not, everything we do is geared toward everybody, not just one particular segment.
And the facility itself, gathering place. People come early, stay late, hang around the facility. It is, again, it's equivalent to I guess a town hall meeting place years ago where people come and be social.
Well, we're fortunate enough to be in the center of everything. I like to say that I'm 15 minutes in any direction from everything in the county. And we have great geography, we have great access. People know where we're at. We're in the heart of downtown. And the home plate has been in the position since 1947. So we have developed that piece as the hub of activity. And then there have been thousands of spokes to the wheel that have come off of it since then. And great accolades to the sporting community in Des Moines. I mean, we have a minor league team in every sport, it seems like. Yeah. In fact, we were named the top minor league sport city in America 2 years ago, I think. So I feel like we're responsible for that. We were kind of the cornerstone of all that, and everything kind of builds in and around that.
Well, and also, I assume, as an important stakeholder in the community, you're looked at when the community needs help in certain contexts. I remember stories you would tell about flood relief and making sure that people, you viewed your facility as a place of refuge. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it was, the first floods in 1993 were a big deal. We had, we lost the water to the city for a week. Major city, not having any water is kind of a big deal. And we left town to go on the road the day before the flooding occurred. And we got back 2 days after they turned the water back on, so we were on this long road trip, ironically, at the time. We didn't miss any games. To the city's credit, they came in and cleaned everything up immediately and got us ready to go, and the water was on. And ironically, we were scheduled to have a major concert, post-game concert, right after the first game back. It was the Temptations were performing, and we just decided to give everybody something else to think about rather than their flooded basements or their damaged business or whatever it may be. We were just going to open the park up to anybody that wanted to come, and because frankly we weren't sure anybody was going to come with the condition everything was in. And fortunately the park was full and people enjoyed themselves, and we discounted everything we could, and it's just we felt like it was our job to get people back in a frame of mind that was something other than worried about their socks being wet all the time.
Final question, take this to a national perspective. One of the interesting numbers is that 81% of the American population is within a market that's covered by minor league baseball. So your story is not just local, it's national, it's all 160 teams moving in one direction.
No question about it, and it's, in fact, I always say to my wife, we're part of a family of 160 members, and there are 2/3 of them that live south of the Mason-Dixon line. Whenever we've got 6 inches of snow and the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour in the middle of January, why do we choose to live here? Well, we choose to live here because baseball is part of the fabric of our lives in the Des Moines area. But it's not just Des Moines. It's Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it's Eugene, Oregon, it's Batavia, New York, and it's Jacksonville, Florida, and it's everybody and everything in between. And this great fraternity of people we have all buy into that, so that it's what America is supposed to be, is what grassroots minor league baseball is.
Well done. Get back home. The Cubs need some help. Go churn out some Cubs. We need a couple of infielders. We need a couple of pitchers.
My guys, Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer and company are doing a great job. They don't need any of my help at all.
You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Sam, thank you
okay,
very much. Appreciate it.